Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the first Prudential RideLondon group workout. Again, this is the first in a series of workouts that Zwift and Prudential RideLondon are bringing you to help you prepare for RideLondon Sportif and all the other events that go with it. So this is, as I said, it's the first in the group workout series, which is also being live streamed on Zwift Community Live's Facebook page. So if you're able to jump on Facebook, you'll be able to watch us live throughout this session. So my name is Matt Rowe. I'm going to be doing the session along with Cameron from Prudential RideLondon. We're going to be put through our paces. So how are you doing, Cameron? You okay? Maybe a little bit of audio trouble there. So whether this is your first step in training towards RideLondon or whether you're well on your way, then I think this session definitely has a role to play in your preparation. So first off, guys, you'll notice we're warming up. So we've got a nice 10-minute progressive warm-up. Nothing too intense because this session today isn't explosive in nature. It's just a steady one. So there's no need to do any real activation sprints or anything. This is just kind of an entry level, should we say, entry level session to get you used to working out and training with a goal. So we've got 8.5 minutes left of the warm up. So whether you're riding this year's event for the first time or not, there's a series of challenging and inspiring group workouts to help you achieve your goals. During Prudential RideLondon this year. Now the Prudential RideLondon group workout series will take place weekly on a Tuesday evening. So this slot we're in now is going to be a regular slot now, and also then on Thursday and Sundays morning. So keep an eye out for those on the Zwift companion app and stick them in your diary because if you stick with the schedule that Zwift and Coach Kev Poulton has provided us all with, you're definitely going to get round Prudential RideLondon in better shape than if you don't stick with it. So great opportunity to benefit for some world-class coaching so you can enjoy Prudential RideLondon as best you can. So today's session, as I briefly mentioned, is more of an introduction really to structured training. So we've got 3 intervals. You'll see them on the left hand side, so you should all be in workout mode. So on the left hand side you'll see 3 coloured bands, 1 being yellow and 2 being green, and that's the structured part of the session. So those intervals, 1 is a 5-minute interval at the band is yellow, which stands for threshold. So that's just below your FTP or your threshold for anyone who's into their zones and has that kind of level of understanding. Then we rest a little bit for 5 minutes, and then we're going to go into a series of 2 10-minute efforts, which are at the top end of zone 3. So they're more of a steady effort. It shouldn't be too taxing, but it will require a little bit of focus. So we're still in the warm-up at the moment. Whew. I'm not sure what you guys make of the jerseys. I think the jersey design is really cool. Love the patriotic element, obviously getting the red, white and blue in there. And in workout mode here we got 214 guys and girls all riding together. I think they look fantastic. So let us know what you make of the kit in the comments on Facebook, guys. And I trust you've all got your fans turned on. So Prudential RideLondon is dubbed the world's greatest festival of cycling. What an accolade! And it is developed by the Mayor of London in partnership with Surrey County Council. So big partnership going on there to make sure or to deliver a world-class event on the roads of London for us all to enjoy. And there's actually over 1,000 people. Sorry, Cameron. Hi, you're back.
This is the new 2018. Be available soon.
Beautiful. Love it.
Hope everyone likes it. It's got some really nice aerodynamic arms, feels really comfortable, and this will be available in-game very shortly.
Got you. So the kit we're riding with now is the 2017 kit, right?
2016 actually.
Ah, okay. Retro. And who makes the kit, Cameron? For 2018, who makes it?
Designed by Endura, so British company, British design.
Lovely. Only the best, as they say. So how are you doing there, Cameron? You've got a bit of a sweat on yet in this warm-up?
Nearly.
Good man. Good man.
Looking forward to the workout.
Good man. So yeah, this session, it's again, it's only the first in a series of group workout sessions. So this is, as I said, an introduction really to training. So you should be able to get off this session and feel like you've done a workout. You shouldn't be too fatigued that you can't do something the next day. So yeah. And then the focus on this session is developing what we call your aerobic base. So it's trying to develop your endurance. So obviously the workout designer for this session, Kev Poulton of Powerhouse Cycling, he's very conscious that for many who are doing the longest distance, which is 100 miles, over 100 miles, it is over 100 miles, isn't it, Cameron? What's the exact distance?
Yep, it's there's two distances. There's a 100-mile event, and that takes in the iconic Leith Hill and Box Hill in Surrey, and then there's a shorter, sort of more achievable distance of 46 miles that uses largely the same route but cuts out the major hills. So it's one that people who haven't done any sort of great distance before can really aim to achieve the 46, and then who knows, build up and attempt the 100 in a different year. Absolutely.
What a great target. So if you're thinking of doing the 46 miler this year, get stuck in. It's gonna be a great day on your bike in the city of London, and then set your sights on maybe the 100 next year. But whichever event you're doing, appreciate it's likely to be a significant challenge for you, and this is obviously why it's worth getting stuck into these Zwift workouts. So we appreciate that endurance is a major factor or a major cycling attribute that you need to develop in order to be able to complete sportif or long distance events such as Prudential RideLondon, and that's exactly what this session aims to achieve. So within a 56-minute session, we're going to train smartly. We're going to work in specific zones, and those zones are zone 4 and zone 3, so the yellow and the green. That's what the yellow and the green means on the left hand side, and that's going to develop what we call our aerobic base. So think of that as base miles or endurance, as many people call it, and what you'll feel after completing this session a series of times is an increase in general level of fitness, which is obviously vital for a long distance event. So we've got a minute and a half left of the warm up. And you should all.
Just a question mark in on the app, on the chat group, of how to adjust the difficulty.
Good point. So if this session is a little bit hard for you or a little bit easy, workout mode in Zwift does enable you to adjust the resistance in game. So it's not you don't have to get dropped. So on the left hand side, underneath the list of sections of the workout, you've got two little arrows, an up arrow and a down arrow, and those arrows basically represent the resistance that get applied to the session. So if you want to add some resistance and make it harder, hit the up arrow. If it's a bit hard and you want to make it a bit easier, hit the down arrow. And just don't be afraid of using those arrows. They're there for a reason. One thing I always say is, make smart decisions. So this is all about the long game. No heroes are going to be made on Zwift on a Tuesday night. It's all about the long game. Slowly building up your own fitness, your personal level of fitness, and managing your own fatigue to achieve your ultimate goal. So if it's Prudential RideLondon, it's all about big steady build up in fitness to enable to perform on that given day. So if you need to make today a little bit easier, feel free. There you go, guys, warm up.
We're just squeezing a little
Done.
here, Matt, at Central London. We'll be making a right turn up towards Trafalgar Square, which of course is on the event in real life.
Yep.
As it were, that's the grand finale of both the 46 and the 100 miles.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
The gradients here that you'll experience is exactly the same in real life. So it's actually quite a realistic training tool if you're lucky enough to have gotten a place in the 46 and the 100. The gradients are bang on, and with the new course expansion a few weeks ago, Leaf Hill, you can really practice indoors and get used to the gradients and the effort required. But of course, there's nothing like the real thing getting out there. But we know that many people come from outside of London, travel to the event, and therefore this could be the next best thing.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, we're into the first interval of today, and this is the most intense interval of the session. So we're going to be riding in what we call zone 4. So this should be quite grippy towards the end of the 5 minutes. The effort should start to kick in. You may even get a bit of lactic acid produced, which is absolutely fine. And stick with it, because after this 5 minutes, we've got a 5-minute recovery phase. But as Cameron was saying just then, you know, all these iconic British roads, it all sounds, you know, too good to be true. You know, riding in the middle of London, no traffic on closed roads, but it is possible. And if the challenge is quite daunting for you, then yeah, what better way to get a feel for what it feels like on Zwift.
So we're just heading down the Strand here, which is now part of the classic Women's World Tour road race, which happens on the Saturday night. We go down here, we make a dead turn, and then it's the big 1 kilometre to go. In the race, the ladies will race for over an hour, and they'll come around this bend under the gantry, and then it's a big sprint for the finish that you might have seen live on BBC.
Absolutely, and obviously we've mainly talked about the Prudential RideLondon, the main sportif, if you like, but obviously there's a whole series of events happening over the weekend, starting off on the Friday, isn't it, with 2 hand cycle races?
So actually, yes, that's correct. So we've got hand cycle races for both para-athletes and sort of people with disabilities, so that includes injured service personnel, so people that have been in the army, the navy, etc. are still keen sports people. So there's hand cycle racing for those people with those kind of disabilities.
That's great. And is there a bit of racing for youth as well, children?
Yes. So the youth racing was on the Lee Valley Velo Park. So a range of races for different categories of youth. Gives them a chance to race for the region and pitch themselves against girls and boys of similar ages around the country.
Wow, there really is a festival of cycling, and there's also some BMX racing as well, which I'm presuming is going to be at the Olympic Park as well on the BMX track there. So yeah, amongst those 3 different events, if you're around on Friday and you don't fall into, well, if you do fall into one of those categories, you can enter. If you don't fall into one of those categories, why not get out and spectate and maybe see some of the nation's next crop of talent. So that is just the Friday. We'll come on to the Saturday in a minute. I'm just gonna, hopefully like you guys, get stuck into this effort now. Just absorb the effort. So we've got a minute and a half left of this first interval, and this is the most intense of the 3 intervals we're doing. It is the shortest. It's also the most intense. So once you got over this, there's nothing going to be this hard again today.
So is it right, Matt, that this effort is supposed to prepare you for your main efforts? It's supposed to wake the legs up, get the blood pumping, and activate the muscles ready for the main set?
Yeah, I mean, I would look at this and say actually this is the most intense effort of the day. So I would kind of class this as a core part of the session. So sometimes you do see kind of activation sprints and a real strenuous warm-up. But that's normally for a session where you're producing really explosive efforts, maybe some sprints, and you really challenge yourself and hitting that top end, zone 6, zone 7, really hitting that top end new muscular power. So I would class this as one of three intervals, but yeah, I guess it depends how you cut and dice it. And the feeling you should be getting here is we're working on our threshold. So if you start out and you're rolling out of London in the first 10 miles, chances are you're going to be full of ambition, you're quite excited, and you're going to probably exert yourself a little bit harder than you perhaps should if you're trying to pace the effort perfectly. So this, in a way, just trains you to kind of absorb that that fast start and keeping up with your mates. So we've got a 5-minute recovery phase now before we go into the final 2 10-minute efforts, which are slightly easier at zone 3. And again, guys, if you are doing this session at home, make sure you got your fan turned on and you've got some liquids handy.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Cameron.
Obviously, drinking and eating regularly is really important, and on Prudential RideLondon there are various food and water stops all the way around the route. So if you do want to stop, if you do need to stop, we recommend you do that to keep your hydration levels up, to keep your energy levels up, so that you don't encounter the world famous bonk coming towards the finish as you come through Wimbledon, through Putney. And obviously if it's a very hot day, you want to keep your hydration up so that you don't fall foul to cramps. So there are various points along the route to look out for, so you can call in and take a while and rest.
Yeah, great advice there. I mean, the tendency is, in the first hour, if you've trained well, chances are you're going to feel quite strong, quite fit, easy to get carried away with a big crowd and swarms of riders around you. The tendency is to, forget about your nutrition strategy, not eat, not drink. And in the first hour, chances are you're not going to feel hungry, you're not going to be thirsty, and you can get away with it. But in the first hour, you're fueling for the last hour of your event. So for some riders, you could be out there for 10 hours. So your nutrition really starts, or really the night before, even a few days before. But the most critical bit is on the day of the event. But before you start, make sure you have a great breakfast. Keep eating, keep drinking. Make sure you start hydrated. Otherwise, you're fighting a losing battle. So start hydrated, and then eating then little and often. And just don't neglect it. And those feed stops, if you're thinking, should I stop in the feed stop, or do you think, will I be okay? Stop in the feed stop. It's not a race. It's a personal challenge, just trying to compete against yourself. So my advice would be stop in the feed stations. And Cameron, what can the riders expect in the feed stations to pick up and fuel themselves with?
Yeah, so we've got some great feed stations called hubs, and then we've got some slightly smaller stations that we call drink stations. So in the main hubs, you can expect nutrition from the likes of Cliff. So you can expect gels, shot blocks, energy bars, and they're great for keeping your energy levels topped up. And then you can expect drinks in the form of Buxton water and Noon, which is a hydration tab, which really replaces the salts that you sweat out during workout. And then lots of other normal foods, which are great for cycling, such as dried fruit, fresh fruit, nuts. That sort of thing is great, sort of really wholesome food that kind of goes well in your stomach, rather than just liquid food, which can upset some people's stomachs. So we've got a great range of foods and sort of proper nutrition provided, as well as mechanical support, toilets and things like. Also a great chance to meet up with friends, families, colleagues. So they do form a bit of a meeting point as well.
Right.
And they are spread around the route, so we have 5 main hubs and then a further 8 drink stations all the way around the route.
Lovely. God, it looks like everyone's going to be well looked after then. Well looked after.
So I see, Matt, we're nearly about to start our first 10-minute interval. How should this one feel?
Good, yeah, you're right. So this next effort is twice the length of the first effort, but it's not quite as intense. So this effort here is what we call zone 3. So you're kind of in the mid-range of zone 3. So this should feel, the zone is called tempo. So it should feel like you're concentrating, but if you had to, you could sustain this effort coming up for well over an hour. But the good news is, we're not asking you to do it for an hour, just 10 minutes this time, and then we're gonna ramp up over the coming weeks. So it's gonna need a bit of concentration. You should be able to sit there and still manage to hold an intermittent conversation. You should be able to get a few words out. Shouldn't be too much of an all-out effort. So, and if you are finding this 10-minute block a bit too challenging, on the left-hand side, I would just counsel, make use of those arrows, adjust the intensity of the workout, and just make it work for you. I mean, this is all it's all about you, developing you as an individual, and trying to get you in as best shape as possible for Prudential RideLondon. So as I said earlier, no champions are made, and then the first session of the first in your garage on a Tuesday night. So yeah. So Cameron, we've obviously mid-interval. We'll try and talk through this one. So you talked about the Friday. There's obviously those 3 great events for youth riders, the hand cycling and BMX. How about on the Saturday? What have we got going on Saturday?
Yeah, so the Saturday is a really busy day. It's amazing. It's firstly, it's the final day of the expo out at Excel, which is where participants will come to collect their the registration packs.
Okay.
So obviously we encourage people not to leave it until the last minute. So the expo is open from Thursday. So you've got Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday to come and register and see some great displays, some great products from sponsors and other exhibitors.
Yep.
And then we've got the very, very popular free cycle, which is a 6 and an 8 kilometre loop. It's one of the few chances of riding in central London and closed roads. And last year we had 70,000 families, kids, adults, teenagers riding around central London,
wow,
stopping off at various activations to learn all about cycling and just really soak in central London. So that's on Saturday morning.
Awesome. And you mentioned, sorry Cameron, sorry mate, you mentioned there about families. Is there a minimum age for children to participate?
No, it does what it says in the tin. It's a free cycle. It's free
awesome
to enter. You don't need to register, but we do encourage people to do so.
Yep.
Tell us that they're coming. But it is free cycle. It's ride around London safely on closed roads. Enjoy the sights, enjoy the atmosphere, the music, the food, and it's a day out for all the family.
Got you. And to register, it's prudentialridelondon.co.uk/free cycle. So yeah, if you do fancy a bit of a ride around London, super relaxed, you can ride as fast or as slow as you like, then get online and register.
So then after the free cycle, we're really building up for the highlight of Saturday, which is the racing. So we're really welcoming the professional women, the top female racers in the world, battling it out on the classic course, which of course is one of the routes in Zwift.
Hey.
And that is a very short circuit, high paced, high energy,
yep,
and a very big prize fund for the women. In fact, it's equal to that of the men, so we're the only event where the women are offered the same prize money as the men who race on the Sunday. So
Yep.
it's highly contested, very fast, and a great spectacle.
Lovely.
And then once the women are finished, we're straight on to the Brompton World Champs, which is Brompton Cycles. It starts with a Le Mans style, where the participants have to unfold their bikes and then race around the same circuit to become the Brompton World Champion.
Wow, awesome. That is cool. That is cool. So on the Saturday, you can see some of the world's best female cyclists in the world. I guarantee you'll see some Olympians, some Olympic gold medalists there. And then in the afternoon, you can see a world champion crowned. That is awesome. Whilst giving you and your family a little bit of a bike ride around the streets of London. So yeah, what an action-packed day that Saturday is. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, running throughout the day is our festival zone in Green Park.
Okay.
Where we've got activities for kids, for adults to spectate and take part in. We've got sponsors who are providing fun, interesting and engaging activities. We've got food vendors all out in Green Park, which of course is on the Queen's doorstep, so it's a fantastic venue.
Absolutely. Do you reckon the Queen will come out to play?
Hopefully.
Awesome.
Stays dry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, we've got 4.5 minutes left of this first 10-minute block. So by now you should, the effort should be starting to take its toll, especially after that first 5-minute effort. So it's the second effort in our legs. So if any sort of structure to your training is, it's a new concept to you. These increases in effort may be a bit alien. Chances are you'll be starting to feel the effects now, but don't worry, it should be feeling hard. This is the hard part of the session, so just stick with it. And over the course of this session and the weeks to come, every Tuesday, join us, same time, 6:30. We're going to be on here, helping you prepare for Ride London, and so you're on the start line is in the best shape as possible. And chances are, if you were to average out the power or the effort that the average effort over the duration of Ride London, so let's take the Ride 100, you're going to average a way less power than we're doing in this block now. So what this is trying to do is we're trying to be really smart with the time we have available to train. So we acknowledge that to complete a 100-mile event, you need to either train for a long time or you need to train fairly intensely. You can't just ride easy for a short amount of time and expect to get around the event well. So this is a really smart way of training by riding and completing a series of varied intervals. We're gonna train smartly, increase our threshold, increase our aerobic base, and all these other buzzwords which all sound great, but essentially for you as a bike rider out on the road come event day, you're going to have an increased sense of fitness. So as I say, all we're trying to do here is just introduce you to the concept of and the way intervals work, and hopefully you'll see some of the benefits and feel some of the benefits as well. And keep drinking, guys. We touched a little bit briefly about the effect that heat has on us. So when we're obviously riding the turbo now on Zwift, if you haven't got a fan on, chances are you'll be overheating a lot, and that causes a lot of stress on your body. And it varies the amount of stress from person to person, but it can be, I think on average it's about 8% lower power we're going to produce because of heat. That's the impact it has. So make sure you've got your fan on, and then on the day, obviously, make sure you dress appropriately. So if it's a scorching hot day, make sure you're not overdressed, and vice versa. If it's hammering down with rain, you've got to dress appropriately. So listen to what the weatherman says and probably do the complete opposite, because they're always wrong.
Well, Matt, we've had a quick question from Facebook Live. Will this be available on Zwift tomorrow? So, can I ride it? So, these workouts are available 3 times per week. So, this exact workout will be repeated on Thursday morning. So, if you're in the UK, that would be a bit of a pre-work workout. And then again on Sunday morning at 10:05. So, if you are unable to get out on your bike on Sunday morning, this is a great alternative. So each workout will change every week and will be available 3 times each week for 16 weeks.
Absolutely. And if you're able to do more than one of these sessions a week, get stuck in and do more than one. I mean, the content of these sessions are really specific and it's tailored to Prudential RideLondon. So if you can ride on a Tuesday and a Sunday, for example, great, get stuck into twice. And just stick it in your diary, make it a concrete part of your week, and you'll definitely feel better for it in the long run. Okay, guys, we've just come to the end of the 10-minute block there, the first 10-minute block. So we've got 5 minutes recovery now, nice and easy. This is our chance just to don't think of this bit as training. Think of this little rest bit as preparing to train, getting your body ready to train. So, but sometimes people are tempted to, ride a bit too hard in the recovery or the easy sections, but that's not the point. The point is to really recover now, get your heart rate down, get rid of some of that lactic acid, so that when the next proper interval comes, we're able to complete it properly, and we're not looking to duck out of it. So nice and easy now, guys, and just keep drinking. Just going to touch a little bit about cadence. So been talking to quite a few other coaches recently and a couple of riders that I coach about cadence. So what cadence should I be aiming for? Is there an optimum cadence? And this is actually the topic of Zwift coaching podcast last week, so if you haven't listened to that, jump on and you'll find on iTunes and Podbean and the like. But cadence, essentially, a lot of it is personal. So if you have been cycling for a long time and you've always pedalled relatively slowly, so let's call that 70 revs a minute, you're going to find it pretty hard if someone forces you to ride at 90 revs a minute. And however, there is a range of cadences which is considered the most efficient, and it's not a one size fits all, but between 85 and 95 revs a minute is considered the most efficient cadence if you could pick it. So if you were to design a bike rider for a long distance event, you probably have him riding around 90 revs a minute. But again, anywhere in that range is going to be great. But if you find yourselves completing these efforts at a cadence of around 55, 60, 65 revs a minute, you're definitely pedaling too slowly. And the other end of the spectrum then, if you're pedaling up over 100 revs a minute, you're probably pedaling a bit too quickly and you're going to be burning too many calories and your heart and lungs will be going out the clappers. So you can try slow your cadence down a bit. So yeah, just aim for that 90 revs a minute if you can. You shouldn't go too far wrong.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Matt, in terms of cadence. It becomes really important, doesn't it, when you get onto the climbs. If you can train your body to spin at a good cadence in that range of 85 to 95 revs a minute, then you are going to find the climbs a little bit more achievable in that you won't be grinding a big gear, maybe causing yourself a little bit of knee pain and back pain. It's pedaling efficiently using the gears on your bike, such as a compact chain set, big sprockets on the rear, to pedal yourself up within your body's limits, up the climbs such as Leaf Hill and Box Hill, which can be quite steep in places. And then what you're doing is you're saving your muscles for later in the day by not diving into that sort of deep energy that you've got stored in your muscles by keeping a really good cadence all throughout the ride.
Yep, absolutely. And you mentioned there about Leaf Hill and Box Hill having some really steep sections, and that's where, making sure your bike, as you mentioned, Cameron, you know, you've got appropriate gears on. So yeah, compact chain set, a big enough cassette on the back. You know, there is no such thing as too small a gear. You know, if people are giving you stick, you know, you can't ride that gear. You know, you don't need that smaller gear. Be the smart guy. You know, make sure you've got a nice small gear on. You can always not use it if you don't need it. But you know, guys who win the Tour de France use 5311 as their biggest gear for a road stage. So chances are we don't need that. So substitute that 11 for a bigger sprocket up the block. So you know, it may be a 12-28. That could be a good ratio, or maybe even a 12-30. They're all good options to have.
So here we go, just heading into the second block.
Second block. So in this one, guys, we just talked about cadence. Just try and focus your cadence and aim for around 90 revs a minute if you can. Because as the effort increases, so as the power required increases, you can either produce that power by force or by increasing your cadence. So I'm riding at 220 watts here. I can either produce that by a combination of pedaling quickly and applying a lot of force, or pedaling slowly and applying a lot of force. So one of them, when you're applying force through the legs, that's obviously a drain on your muscles. So you're going to force your muscles to work really hard and produce lactic acid. Or if you pedal faster, that's going to be less of a strain on your muscles and your legs and more of a strain on your cardiovascular system. And obviously your cardiovascular system, well, within limits, can work hard for a long period of time. Whereas your legs, as soon as they start producing lactic, they're going to start fatiguing. So yeah, higher cadence is better. So
what cadence are you pedaling at just now, Matt?
So I'm about 88 revs a minute. Yeah, funny you can't actually see it on my screen. It's showing on my Garmin. Honestly.
A good coach never reveals his top tips.
If I tilted this camera down a little bit, you see I'm sat on a sofa. I'm not even riding. So guys, 8.5 minutes left of the last block. So this is where, towards the end of the session and towards the end, the middle end of the last effort, it's easy to let your composure go and let your form go, but really important to keep your upper body still as possible, and let all that force be generated from your waist down. So every watt of power is coming from your legs. Try to limit the amount of pulling on your handlebars and the like that you do, because every time you engage other muscles that aren't in your legs, those muscles require an oxygen to function, and that's taken away from the oxygen that is available to go to your legs. So the stiller you can keep your upper body is more efficient, and it's also going to cause less air disruption as well. So those who especially when you're moving fast, it's really important to keep your body still, because the more rocking and rolling you do, you're disrupting that airflow, and it just adds to being an inefficient bike rider. And just like that, that's a minute and a half gone since I spoke last. So only 7 minutes to go now, guys. Just sit there like a well-oiled machine. Just absorb this effort now, just soak it up. And on the left hand side you can see...
We talked about the Friday and Saturday of Prudential RideLondon. Of course, the big day in many people's minds, and the big target that people are going to work towards, is the Sunday.
Absolutely. So Sunday, some call the main event, where I guess it starts with the two sportives. So you've got the Ride 100 and the 46 miler. Are those two things kick off first?
Yeah, that's correct. They both start in the same starter zone, which is over in Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, home to 2012 and all those Olympic medals, and the Team GB won. So we start there. using the same course, rolling out towards central London, through central London, West London, and then down to Surrey. The 46 branches off as we head into the Surrey Hills and stays mainly flat. And then the 100 heads towards Newlands Corner, Leith Hill, Box Hill, and then back in where it rejoins the 46 route, heading back towards Wimbledon, Putney, and then up through Fulham, and then into central London for that big finish. So that starts early doors at 6 o'clock in the morning, as you would expect with many of these big sportifs and mass participation rides. And then we're really building up to see some of the world's top men doing battle on similar roads as ridden by the 146, but of course the Olympic road race. So that finishes on the Mall around 5 p.m. on Sunday. Big climax, big finish, prize money, very exciting.
Awesome, that does sound exciting. So, did you say about the prize money for men and women? That's fantastic. I mean, where's all those funds coming from? Is there a big sponsor that's making those prize funds equal?
It's a combination, Matt, and it is something that the event does just by just through the general organising. It's to do with the sort of the principles of the event is to try to be as equal as it can for all. So both races have got World Tour status.
Yep.
And we feel that the male and the female athletes deserve a crack at the same prize fund, rather than it being sort of leaning towards the male, which is often the case, but is changing. But it's an active decision that we've made.
Awesome. No, that's great to see. So chapeau there to you guys and the organisers.
And what it does make is, it just makes for really exciting racing, because the pros are obviously paid, but they get a share of the prize money. So with having a very competitive and equal prize fund, it makes for really exciting racing between the men and the women across the Saturday and the Sunday. Yep,
absolutely. That sounds good. So I've got a couple of start times in front of me just to run through. Let's go rattle through this. So on Friday, the Prudential RideLondon Grand Prix is 11 till 6. Obviously all these times are subject to change, but the guidance at the moment is 11 till 6. So any point on Friday really, from mid-morning till early evening, there's going to be some great action available to you for you to go and check out in central London. Then on Saturday, we've got the free cycle, which is it's what's that, 7-hour window from 9 till 4. There's plenty of opportunity for you to come down, maybe with the family, and just cycle around the iconic roads of our great capital. Then we've got the Prudential RideLondon Classic. That's the ladies, the world-class women, and they're kicking off at 5 o'clock, and they'll be racing for just shy of 2 hours. So what a great way to spend a Saturday evening. And then after the ladies have finished, it's the Brompton World Champs, and central London as well, 7:15. So that's a great couple of days there. And on the Sunday then, as Cameron said, we're kicking off the RideLondon Surrey 100. Starts off nice and early. Waves go off from 5:45 until 9 o'clock. So yeah, make sure you get there in plenty of time. If you are, whatever wave you're in, give yourself plenty of time, because these things always take longer than you think. And then the Prudential RideLondon Surrey 46 starts at 9 until 10. So there's an hour of waves there before the RideLondon Surrey Classic, we could call it the main event, starts at 20 to 2 in the afternoon. So that's a lot of activity, a lot of bike riders. And there's a stat somewhere about the number of cumulative miles that cycled across the 3 days. I think the stat is, here we go, it's the largest festival of cycling in the world, with more than 100,000 participants, 100,000 bike riders. That's incredible. Expected to cycle more than 3 million miles across the 7 different events over the weekend. That's incredible. So guys, got 1 more minute here. 1 more minute to go. Look at that prompt on screen there. You can do it. You can do it. And you can. Often it's your mind that is the limiting factor in cycling. A very, very tough sport. And the body is capable of great things. It's often the mind that lets us down, but you can do it. And then completing exercises like this and training sessions like this today just gives you confidence that you are capable of great things. It's amazing how much you can benefit and how quickly you can reap the benefits of training and improve once you do start training in a structured manner. So yeah, stick with the last 10 seconds, guys. We're almost there. And then make sure you join all the future RideLondon group workouts. Well done, everyone. Well done. 5 minutes easy now. How was that, Cameron? How do you find that second effort or the third effort?
Yeah, it was good. Certainly, the previous two blocks does get your body used to it. If you've been at work all day, it can take a bit of time to get going, but I find that I get better as the workout goes on.
Yep.
So I really like the structure of this, which is, hard sections and then some rests in between to really make the rest of the workout very effective.
Yep, good man. So essentially now we've got there's 10 minutes left of the session, 5 minutes nice and steady, then 5 minutes easy cool down. So all the hard work's done really. This is just a little bit of steady state riding, just to give you that little bit of extra conditioning. It's trying to knock up the overall volume up to just I think it's 56 minutes the whole session. Just gives you that little bit of extra volume and training. Yeah, so we're not quite there yet, but I think it's safe to say we've all completed the hardest part of the session. So well done, everyone. Give yourself a pat on the back or ride on.
So when you're out riding, Matt, what's the number one thing that you'd recommend that people take with them in the pocket?
Equipment-wise, yeah, good point. For me, it's equipment to repair a puncture. So most things you'll be able to get home. I know there's a lot of support out on the course, but even so, you've got to be self-sufficient. So say you puncture and you're not anywhere near, we've got a couple of miles to the nearest pit stop. That's a long walk. So take stuff to repair puncture: inner tube, tyre levers, and a pump, and also a thin layer. So weather can change. We know what the weather's like in the UK. A thin layer, maybe a rain cape, even if it's not raining. Just a thin rain cape, just to act as another layer to keep you warm, really. So they'll be my two things. How about you, Cameron? What would your tip be?
Yeah, I think it's definitely that puncture repair kit. You might be riding with people, but you might be riding on your own. So you want to be self-sufficient as you can to repair your puncture, so you don't become disappointed because you can't finish your training session, or you can't get home, or you can't finish your commute to work. So an inner tube, tyre levers, a pump, and you may want to try a CO2 gas canister, but of course make sure you take your empties away with you and don't leave them on the street.
Yep.
And that's a really quick way, especially when the weather is cold at the moment, to quickly gas your tyre and continue, rather than at the side of the road furiously pumping your tyre up. So definitely puncture repair kit, and of course we have lots and lots of support across RideLondon, Surrey 100 and the 46 in the form of vehicles with mechanics in and various stops at the hubs where you can get mechanical support. But we definitely recommend from now to the summer to really get into the routine of taking that puncture repair kit and that extra clothing and nutrition and become as self-sufficient as you can and learn the skills, learn the techniques of how to change a puncture in a tyre, and that will stand you in good stead so that you have every possible chance of finishing the event and then having a great time.
Yep, great advice there. Great advice. And obviously, yeah, in the run up to RideLondon, make sure you get your bike serviced. So there's nothing worse than, you know, on the morning of realising you've got a buckled wheel and maybe your wheels rubbing one of the brake pads, slowing you down, or your chain's squeaking, or the front mech's rubbing, all this type of stuff, or your brakes don't work very well, or maybe your tyres threadbare. All recipes for disaster. So yeah, get your bike serviced, get someone to look over it and replace all those bits that need replacing, so you can get the most out of your RideLondon experience. Because it's a great day, and the last thing you want to do is have them put all the hard work in, and come event day, see all your mates ride up the road and leave you while you're sat on the side of the road with a mechanical. There's no need for that. So yeah, preparation is critical, as they say. Right, into the cool down now, guys. So all the hard work is done. All we've got left now is 5 minutes of easy riding. It's kind of a ramped cool down. So we start off, yeah, I'm doing 180 watts cool down, and that slowly decrease over 5 minutes. And that just lets your body readjust, start to recycle some of that lactic acid, let your core body temperature just cool down a little bit, and it lets that recovery process start. So already our body is working hard to try and get stronger and repair itself for next time. So yeah, all you can do now is spin the legs, have a drink, and then when you get off the turbo, then make sure you refuel. So, you know, a little bit of protein is a good idea. Maybe you're going to jump off, have a shower, and then it's time for dinner. Perfect. Whatever you do, make sure you have something to eat, ideally in the next half an hour. And this is my first time using the new Zwift companion app. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It makes it a lot easier to see the workout that you've just been doing. It's easier to toggle in game the resistance, so the up and down arrows that I mentioned, you can toggle that really easily. Yeah, just really nice interface. So good job there by Zwift.
So as we mentioned before, Matt, this workout is part of a 16-week plan that's been Kevin Coulton, who's a top world tour, world-class coach for Zwift. And then this workout is specifically designed towards doing things like Prudential RideLondon, Surrey 100, and other long rides. You know, you might be doing a charity challenge, you might be riding with friends or family in Europe on holiday, and this plan can be downloaded from our website, prudentialridelondon.co.uk, and very, very soon will be available in Zwift. So when you go to the workout menu by pressing E on your keypad, those workouts will appear there for you to select and follow. And they're designed so that there's 4 workouts per week, and you can choose when you do those. But obviously everyone's busy, everyone's got jobs, family, other commitments. So don't worry that you can't spread them out and fit them into your work-life balance. The main aim is to do them, but don't be worried, don't feel like you're falling behind, because they're designed that if you can't make one, you just go on to the next one. Yep. So that'll be available really soon, towards the end of this month, with another big update in Zwift, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, awesome. And remember guys, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So again, no heroes are going to be made in the first week or two. So if you're smashing every session, you're getting all the gold stars on the left hand side and do an extra maybe, that's great. But remember, it's about over the 16 weeks, consistency. Consistency wins every time. So yeah, just slow and steady, don't burn yourself out. You know, try and get into a routine where you can slot the 4 sessions in. And don't worry about doing too much extra, especially in the early days, if training in a structured way is new to you. Now, if you're experienced and you're used to training and following a training program, by all means, you know, take these sessions and factor them into your own plan. But if you're new to it and you really want to benefit over the full course of the 16 weeks, remember, marathon, not a sprint. There's a little reminder there on the days that the workouts are in game, which is Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Was it Friday? Tuesday, definitely Tuesday and Sunday. I'll have a little,
Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
It was Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. I was right first time. So there you go, guys. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
So just over 20 seconds to go now, Matt. Any final thoughts from you?
Final thoughts is, yeah, how quickly really that 56 minutes has passed. It's amazing where a little bit of yeah, specific work, a great environment on Zwift, me and you chatting away, Cameron. It's amazing how quickly time flies. So I've really enjoyed it, Cameron, and I hope you have too.
There you go.
Beauty. Cool. Good job, man. I think we're off. Yep, we're out of here.